Story 1. I didn't realize my girlfriend was telling me the literal truth when she told me her secret. Had been dating Mary for about 2 months when she told me about the marble. We had already exchanged the L word. At least, she said she loved me, that she wanted to be with me forever, that she wanted nothing more than to spend every night of her life with me, in my arms. I couldn't say it back to her. Because obviously, how could I? She had never actually spent a whole night with me. How could I say I love you to a woman who desperately rushed out of the door after a few hours with me? Oh, we slept together, there was no problem in that department. The most amazing sex of our lives, we murmured to each other, our limbs and hair intertwined. Then, as we would get drowsy and heavy, she'd jerk up, frantic, her jade green eyes wide open in terror, start pulling on her clothes. Mary, come back, I'd beg. Sweetheart, where are you going? Stay with me. She'd kiss me. No, I can't. I have to go home. I can't sleep over, I told you so. But why? You said you don't have kids, or husband. I couldn't help the note of suspicion in my voice. I swear I don't. She would kiss me deeply. I just can't sleep over. It's nothing bad, I swear. I have to go. And she'd leave. I believed her. And eventually, after she told me she loved me, she swore me to secrecy and told me the real reason why she wouldn't stay. Sitting close to me, snuggling up, she said, Farid, please believe me. I turn into marble when I fall asleep. I smiled kindly. Okay, Mary, whatever. No, I'm serious. I turn to actual stone when I sleep. It started happening after an old boyfriend of mine. She paused for a moment and swallowed hard, tried to assault me while I was asleep. I fought down the shocking rage which flamed inside me. I drew her closer to me, kissed her and asked, What do you mean, my love? Tears spilled out of her eyes. I don't know why. I've researched, I've never dared tell anyone. At first it was cool. Then that's how I knew. I started dating again, and it happened the first night I slept over with the new boyfriend Barry. I was wakened by his screaming. He was screaming, staring at me. I had turned into a marble statue when asleep, and as I wake up, I turn back to normal human flesh. I shook my head. I didn't understand what she was talking about, but I realized it was some sort of trial of our love I didn't need to understand. I kissed her trembling lips. Listen, Mary, I don't care about that, okay? You could turn into a frog when you fall asleep and I would still love you. Her eyes lit up. Oh, Farid, she sighed. You've never told me you love me before. I kissed her again. I haven't. How remiss of me. I'm telling you now. I love you, Mary. She started crying. I thought it was from joy, but thinking back to that night, I realize it was from relief. You don't understand, she sobbed, how terrified I was of losing you. I love you so much. And the sleeping thing, I've never slept over with a man since Barry. He killed himself. He couldn't handle seeing me turn into marble. It wasn't my fault, he already had issues. I stroked her jet black hair. Shush, you don't have to talk about it, But she continued sobbing and talking. No, I ruined all my relationships, because I couldn't sleep over with anyone. They all said they didn't mind at first, then they grew suspicious like you just did. Thought I must be cheating on someone, and then I heard you sounding the same. I couldn't bear it, so I'm telling you, it's just because I turn into marble when I fall asleep. I filmed myself. It starts from my legs, and then the marble comes all the way up, and then when I wake up it's reversed, from the top of my head going down. I turn back into human. I wanted her to stop talking about the marble and Barry and the other men she'd slept with before me. I held her closely, kissed her face which was wet with tears. Please, Mary, please, it's okay. I believe you. I didn't mean to sound suspicious, I'm sorry. Stay over with me tonight. Please. I don't care about the marble. Her sobs gradually faded and she clung to me. Soon enough, our embrace changed from solace and comfort to passion. Our time together was the most joyful we had ever had. The burden of confession off Mary's shoulders, she abandoned herself to pleasure like I have never seen in a woman, and probably never will again. It was around midnight, I think, that we fell asleep, entangled in each other. I jerked awake only a short while after, conscious of a heavy coldness pressing against my skin, my neck. Something stone cold was against me, digging into my flesh. My right arm and leg seemed to be caged in something cold. I reached out with my free arm and switched on the bedside light, confused and groggy. And then, in the harsh electric light, I saw a statue of a woman lying next to me, in white marble veined with jade green and jet black, her stone arms and legs interlaced with mine. I gave a cry of terror, frantically trying to free my captive arm and leg. At the sound, the marble seemed to shiver, and flush of human color started from the top of her head. I was trying to prise myself free, and just as I succeeded in pulling away and pushing her off, her eyes opened. I pushed her off the bed as I jumped backwards. She fell to the ground and I heard her cry out in a loud shattering sound. Then silence. "Mary!" I quavered, and slowly I went around to her side. There she was, lying in two marble pieces broken on the ground. Only her head was of human flesh, her black hair spread back, her jade-green eyes wide open staring at me in agony, her lips open in her last cry. Story 2. Tender age. They cry before the final wash. Even the defiant ones. The ones who laughed at intake, or spat on the floor. The ones who tried to scream innocence with mouths already soft from the feed. It always ends the same. Quiet tears, slick on cheeks gone round with fat. A body realizing it's not a person anymore. Just something being prepared. They call it justice. Not execution. Not slaughter. Reformation through contribution. The slogans printed in soft, corporate grey across the facility walls. Right above the feeding stations. Same font they use on nutritional info labels. I work on floor 3. Adult yield. I don't do cuts, that's section red. I just prep. Measure muscle tone. Monitor weight curves. Mark when skin starts to split under pressure. My job's to make sure they're ready. It didn't happen all at once. First the crops went. Wheat, soy, barley. Soil gave up. Blight took hold. Then the water turned. Acid rain. Fish die-offs. Farms collapsed. Real meat vanished after the Clean Protein Act. That was 15 years ago. The state needed food. It had prisons full of bodies. It made sense, they said. So they changed the law. High crime offenders became tenders. Sentenced not to death, but to feeding. Raised, fattened, processed. No waste. No guilt. No animals harmed. Each one's tagged at intake. Fed around the clock. Speech restricted after phase 2. They're kept docile. Lucid enough to chew. A little less, day by day. Some of them ask to die early. That's not an option. I haven't touched meat in 6 years. Not since I saw her name on my log. Someone I'd gone to school with. Quiet. Smart. Wrote poems during lunch. Her crime? Subversive media creation. She came in weighing just over 50 kilos. I brought her to 87. She stopped speaking after week 4. That's considered optimal. I remember the label. Sweet cut, passive class, low contamination risk. I filled in the tag myself. Walked to the staff sink and threw up until I couldn't breathe. That was the last time I ate the product. The new tender, Unit 89, he was a teacher. Taught banned books to kids. Thought treason, level 2. Gaining fast. Bodies responding well. Eyes already gone blank. Tomorrow he'll meet weight. Tonight I watched him sleep. Curled on his side. Stomach rising with the feed. Hands twitching. Like he was still dreaming of chalkboards and morning bells. I stood outside the glass. Wrote the number. Then paused. Crossed it out. Wrote a new one. Low enough to delay processing. It'll buy him a day. Maybe 2. He'll still be eaten. Of course he will. But not yet. And tomorrow, when I walk past the canteen and see the fresh trays out. The label will be there, clear as always. Tenderloin, morally clean, state-fed, for you. And I'll look away. Hold my breath. And drink the soup. Again. Story 3. Dinner with Gracie. Every night my family has dinner together. Me, my mom, my big sister and her little Gracie. Every night we eat the same thing. Cold soup from a can. Tonight is clam chowder. Every night my mother, with her dark eyes and hollow cheeks, stares wordlessly into her bowl. Never eating. She doesn't need to speak, my sister's voice fills the room enough. Every night I slurp down all of what I'm given. I'm afraid of looking like my mother, so thin now I wonder how her legs can hold her up. Her pale skin has a yellow tinge to it and the little hair she has left is dry and dull. Every night my sister keeps her eyes glued on her little Gracie in the high chair. My sister pokes Gracie's belly while spooning the chowder into her mouth. Gracie lets out a giggle while the chowder dribbles down her chin. I love you. I love you too, Gracie. My sister coos and pokes her belly again, giggling along with Gracie this time as if poking her was the funniest thing in the world. I love you. Oh, I love you too, Gracie. So much. She kisses Gracie's nose with a smile and takes a lick of the chowder from her lips. I look to my mother to say something, but she is still deeply concentrated on her chowder. My sister continues to gush to Gracie about how much she loves her, how she's so perfect, and has the cutest laugh, and even coated in clammy slime she is the most beautiful girl my sister has ever seen. Tonight, Gracie decided to ruin our dinner. She stopped laughing. My sister grunts and pokes Gracie, only to be met with silence. She pokes her again. 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 She frantically jams her bony fingers into Grace's belly as the panic starts to set in. Mom, it's happening again. She screeches at our mother, still focused on her bowl. My sister keeps poking her, screaming at her, shaking her, until the frustration overcomes her and she flings the high chair backward into the kitchen, sending Gracie flying. My sister begins hurling anything she can grab at our mother, the cup, the bowl, the silverware, until my mother finally goes to fetch Gracie. My sister's body trembles with every violent sob, and all I can do is wait for it to be over. My mother grabs Gracie and opens the special kitchen drawer. She moves so calmly I don't know if she can even see my sister anymore. She lifts Grace's shirt, unscrews the back, and replaces the batteries. She sets the high chair back up and presses the button on the doll's stomach. My sister's sobs slowly morph into giggles as her doll comes back to life. My mother stares deeply into the heap of wet, broken glass that was once her meal. She doesn't say anything. I keep eating. Story 4. We haven't eaten in weeks. The woman at the far side of the clearing had the same face as me. Between us stood a toddler in a red puffer jacket. I tried to keep my voice low, calm. Hey kiddo. Come give Mama a hug. Sammy, don't listen to her, the woman said. Get over here. Sammy turned and turned, like a wobbly top. Then he took a step away from me. Panic rose in my chest. I couldn't lose him. I had a flash of inspiration. Sammy! I called, as I rooted around at my feet. I pulled out a plush alligator, with a fuzzy green body and a soft round snout. It looked exactly like the alligator logo on his jacket. You can have your birthday present early, I said, holding the plush out. His eyes lit up, and he toddled back toward me. Sammy, stop, the woman shouted, just as he grabbed the alligator plush. I scooped him into my arms, relief flooding through me. I turned and ran. Behind me, the woman screamed, the sound climbing into a shrill, keening wail, before subsiding into broken sobs. They quickly faded to nothing, muffled by the muddy earth and hollow trees of the fairy woods. I slowed to a walk, clutching Sammy to my chest as I picked my way down a path intermittently caught by moonlight. Stupid, 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 I thought. Entering the fairy woods at night. I knew what the locals said. That the fairies of these woods once were mischievous but kind. They might drink an entire barrel of your best mead, but they'd refill it with gold. At some point, they changed. Branches that used to playfully catch at your hat instead clawed your face, drawing blood. Will-o'-the-wisps led children too deep into caves, and their bones appeared on their parents' doorstep the next morning, broken and gnawed. The locals whispered, around candles and campfires, that maybe the fairies had left and something crueler had moved in. They were wrong. The humans had chopped down our trees for their settlements, diverted our rivers for their crops, taken and taken and taken, until all that was left was a ring of oaks and a clearing, still called our woods like a twisted joke. The few of us that were left were sorrowful and bitter and hungry. I stepped over a line of toadstools. Sammy made a confused noise as his alligator plush turned back into a pile of dry leaves. "Mama," he began petulantly. Then his eyes widened at the sight of my face, my real face, not the mask I had copied from his mother. He squirmed, and I tightened my grip. "Tristan, Illa," I called. "Start the fire. I caught a human for supper." Story 5. I'm terrified to come of age. Today is my 14th birthday. The day I've been dreading my whole life. I'll finally get my symbiote and be allowed to go outside. My mother enters my room. I'm wearing the fancy dress she got me. She has our whole day planned. She starts by brushing my hair. "They like it when it's smooth and neat," she says, referring to the spiders. Which is crazy with that rat's nest she has on her head. Egg sacs and webs weaved into her blonde knots. As she pulls the brush through my hair, she questions me on history. The questions I'll have to answer at my ceremony. Ooh. So boring. I get it. 100 years ago the people on Earth effed up and ruined the climate. Now America is all swamps. And then there was the Mississippi River virus. And then the mosquito calamity. And then almost everyone died. And scientists needed a natural solution to the mosquito problem. Big deal. Is anyone going to ask me if I even want a spider? Why would I want to go outside? Well, at 14 you have to get a spider, and have to go outside to work. And that's why you get your symbiote. No mosquito will ever bite you with your forever friend. Mom chuckles, and her spider, Morgana, skitters out of her hair. I've always been scared of Morgana. She's so hairy, and her long legs send shivers up my spine. She skitters all over my mother's face, and Mom doesn't even blink. Yuck. My dad comes in and asks if we're ready for the ceremony. His spider, Gabriel, hangs from his chin on some web, bobbing back and forth. I think I'm gonna throw up. We get in the living room, and some stranger in a fancy robe is here. Mom curtsies, and Dad bows. I curtsy too. The robed man sits me down and interrogates me. I answer all his questions about boring history. "May history never repeat itself," he says. "Never repeat itself," we all answer in sync. "And now," the robed man says, "if you are lucky, a spider will choose you." He opens the robe like he's a flasher, but he reveals a webbed nightmare. There are spiders all over him. I fight down a gag. "Hold out your hand." I do it, even though I don't want to. One spider jumps from him to my hand. My parents start crying and clapping, they're so happy. But I freak out. I hate this and it's gross, and maybe it was just a reflex, but I swat the spider away. It curls up dead on the floor. "No!" The robed man screams. My parents gasp. She has broken the sacred law. My parents turn their backs on me. The robed man grabs me. He drags me to the front door. I scream for my parents, but they don't answer. He throws me outside. I immediately feel an itch on my forearm and swat it. Story 6. The Mime. It's the 4-year anniversary of my niece's disappearance. The family holds a vigil at the park. I hate it. Too sad. Everyone's moving on. They get upset when I say she could still be alive or don't give up hope. Now, I keep my mouth shut. I haven't seen her missing posters in a while. I hope they make more. I'm almost there. I can see my sister's empty SUV parked ahead. I stop at a bench and try to bolster my breath. I hate this. A sound flutters through the air, exaggerated footfalls. I look up and see a mime, black and white face paint, red beret, striped shirt. He's stopped, staring at me like he's trying to place my face. "What?" He gives me a look that says, "Really?" Then, he glances down at his outfit and silently laughs. I might find this funny if I wasn't about to do sad family stuff. "Hey, sorry if this is rude, but it's not a good time, my man." I take out a $5 and try to hand it to him. He snaps his fingers and points at me, like he's suddenly remembering something. Reaching into his pocket, he pulls out one of the missing posters. It's brand new. He points to me, then to her picture, then back at me. Shaking his head playfully, he slips the poster back into his pocket and walks toward the middle of the road. I spring to my feet. "Hey, that's my niece. Where did you get that?" He points at me with a shocked look, then silently laughs again. Why do you have that? Where is she? He's doing the invisible wall trick now. I don't have time for this, asshole. He puts up a finger, signaling me to wait. Then, he pantomimes taking off a backpack and sets it in front of him. Excitement flickers in his expression as he slowly begins unzipping the imaginary bag, using his whole body to exaggerate the motion. With a dramatic flourish, he pulls it open. She's in there. My niece. I can see her. She's curled into the fetal position, looking so thin, her face sunken. Her eyes squint, struggling to adjust to the light. She sees me. And the nanosecond I realize that she recognizes me, he closes it. He zips the invisible bag shut and slings it onto his back. I sprint toward him, but I slam into the damn invisible wall. He silently laughs. I bang on the barrier, but it won't break. I feel for an opening, there isn't one. He moves beyond the road's meridian. I can't see his lower half anymore. Give her to me. Now. Now, you bastard. Now. He mimes pressing a button, then takes a big step forward, like he's entering something. Another button press. He waves at me. He's starting to descend. I shove past the invisible wall and run faster than ever. His beret dips out of my vision just as I reach the meridian. He's gone. She's gone. Again. Story 7. My first child. Luckily I heard them first. I ducked down, frantically whispering to my child to scurry underneath the bridge, while tying my satchel of supplies, including the pupper's harness, to my shoe and lowering it. I hadn't wanted to name it. Bubba came to mind, but my kid came up with Jinx, and it stuck. Mum, please can I come up? I'm scared. Jinx is scared. It's fine. You're fine. Jinx is fine. Do as I say and stay. I'll take care of us, my love. I made sure to add a few more suction cup hickeys to my skin, complementing the makeup markings. I lowered the rope a bit more, and pretended to be asleep. Or at least as dead as I could be. Just as the soldiers got to my prone form, I quit squirming. I prayed to every god out there that the kid could hold on and the pup would be still, that the trazodone I gave her had kicked in, that the strangers wouldn't discover either and or that both were immune. The soldiers scrutinized my fake boils and welts and labored breathing as I did my best acting to distract them from the thin rope around my calf dangling off the side of the bridge. Nah, she's a goner, one said, after what felt like a fucking eternity. My leg ached from the weight of the rope desperately holding my heart and her pup, and my chest ached thinking about how my little one's arms must be feeling. But I still remembered to twitch, as the long-infected did from the sound of other humans. The soldiers backed away, not wanting any part of this bit, and all but ran out of my vicinity. I allowed myself a moment to breathe. But then came the bark. Story 8. Not my wife. It started with her eyes. They were still green. Still almond-shaped. But something behind them flickered that I told myself I was tired. Everyone looks different in bad light. But then she kissed me goodnight and said, "Sleep tight, Thomas." She never calls me Thomas. Only Tommy. Always has, even during fights. I stared at her as she rolled over. Her breathing was perfect. Too perfect. No little snore, no twitching legs, not even the sleep mutterings I used to tease her about. Just silence. In the morning, she made pancakes. Exactly how I liked them. But she hummed a song I'd never heard. When I asked, she blinked and said, "I've always loved that song. It played at our wedding." We didn't have music at our wedding. I checked the photos. They were all there. Our vacation in Goa, her college graduation, the wedding. But every time I zoomed in, her face looked subtly wrong, like a mask sculpted from memory. Almost right, but off. I asked her about the honeymoon. She got the hotel name wrong. Laughed it off. You always forget. It was the Seaview, not the Sandstone. It was the Sandstone. I know it. I started recording her. At night. During breakfast. She never noticed. I made a spreadsheet of inconsistencies. Favorite color. Green, not blue. Favorite wine. Merlot, not Shiraz. Small things. But they added up. On day 14, I found a mark behind her ear. like an incision, almost healed. I confronted her. She smiled gently and said, "I think you should talk to Dr. Verma again." Dr. Verma, my therapist. The one she suggested after my breakdown last year. But I remember everything. I didn't hallucinate that scar. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay beside her and whispered stories only the real Maya would know. The street we got mugged on in college. The name of our dead cat. The first time we kissed in the rain, shivering under a broken umbrella. She got every detail wrong. When I finally told her I knew, she didn't scream. Didn't deny it. She just looked disappointed. Then she said something I'll never forget. "Tommy, we've done this before. 6 times. She reached under the bed and pulled out a box. Inside were 6 notebooks. Each labeled with a date. Each one in my handwriting. Each one tracking her dates, inconsistencies, diagrams. "I always hope you'll get better," she said. "But the cycle always ends the same." She showed me a video on her phone. I was tied to a hospital bed. Screaming, ranting, crying about imposters. I watched it. Watched myself sobbing, begging the doctors not to let her near me. Then I looked at her. The scar was gone. No, not gone. It had moved. Now it was just under her jaw. She saw me notice. And she smiled. That wasn't my wife's smile. I'm not crazy. Am I? I just need to get out before they switch me next. Before they make me one of them.